All right, y'all. First and foremost, give all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, the Mashiach, who some call Yahweh Shai, Yeshua, Yehoshua, Yashayah. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. Um, I wanted to talk about a couple of tools that we're using and try to go to the blue letter to help us navigate the blue letter a little better and what we're actually and understand what we're actually looking at. Um, and to the best of my ability, because I still need to sit down with that blue letter and learn some stuff. I really should have did it before I even did this video, to be honest. But I just want to give you the basics. It's just on my spirit just to give the basics. I have done a video on this maybe last year or something like that. But so we're gonna talk about some of these tools. All right, first I want to talk about a parallel Bible. Okay, this is a parallel Bible. And this has the KJV, the NIV, the Living Bible, the NRS, all in this compact Bible. It don't look compact, but it's compact to be 4 Bibles. All right, 4 different versions. And you can't see this. I know you ain't gonna be able to see this, but you see each column is a different verse. A different version. All right, and this is just for comparative. You can just instantly compare. The KJV. If you didn't miss something in the KJV, you can go into the NIV, see what they saying. You can go to the Living Bible, see what they're saying. Very important too. And they have them in different. This is also like a parallel. This is also a parallel Bible. But this is the NLT and the KJV. Oh, hold on. Y'all can see it. No, y'all not gonna be able to see it. But this is the NLT and KJV. All right, and then on the sides it has, on one side it's the KJV, on the other side it's the NLT. All right, still kind of compact. It's still not like a large text. And this really doesn't have, because it has footnotes, but it's not this. It's not a study Bible. All right, so you can use those Bibles for comparative text, parallel Bibles, when you're looking through different translations. We also have here, my goodness, falling out all over the place, man. You just hate that, man. You spend so much money on these things, but they gonna tear up, man. There ain't no way about it, no way around it. And this is a hard copy, man, hardback. But this is a study Bible. All right, it's a study Bible, King James Study Bible, and this has a ton of footnotes, commentary. Breaking stuff down, like at the very bottom. And I know probably y'all can't see it, but at the very bottom here, see there, at the bottom it gives you a ton of information. Also in the center column, it gives you what Israel likes to call precepts. I try to get away from that because precept just means law. Okay. And that precept in Isaiah 28, it does not mean law. All right, it does not mean law. Look that up. Precept upon precept, line upon line. Look up that word precept there. Okay. Anyway, this is what Israel called precept. So you have a ton of information here, and you have in the center column, you also have this is center column right here. And it also gives you, better translations for certain words. Like, oh, well, this word should have been better translated this. And so you'll see that also in there. And you'll have to go to the index too to understand some of these abbreviations. This also has a small concordance in it and a small dictionary in it. Very small. All right, very small, but Maps also in here. Ton of maps. You know, maps are very important. So this is a very good tool, especially for teachers. Because sometimes you're gonna have to do that research. You can't just, you know, a lot of us are teaching and we're waiting on somebody else to teach us something, and you just, you know, teacher, you should be hungry, and so if you're hungry, you're gonna have to go find you something to eat, and you're gonna have to look in this book and read and do research and start figuring things out on your own, because you can't keep waiting on somebody to feed you so that you can feed other people. You're gonna have to go out here and get this meat and get this and drink this wine. It's a Strong's. All right, Strong's Concordance. Now, a Strong's is a locator, concordance. It locates words. So if I wanted to do a class on love and I wanted to see where all the verses are that involve the word love, I can go to the Strong's Concordance. I can look up love, and then it'll list all the words that all the verses that have the word love in it. All right. Now, it'll have all the verses that have the translated love. You know, like love has different definitions, right? I mean, not different definitions, but there are different words for love in the Greek and the Hebrew. But whatever is transliterated into love, whatever that word is translated into love, is there. I'm just saying the Strong's is not going to make a distinction. It's just going to show you where love, if it's in a verse, they're going to put it in there. Whether it's agape, whether it's some other word, is still going to list all the words that have been transliterated into love. If that makes sense. Pray that makes sense. I have another one, but that's not it. That's not all it does. All right, some of these, let me pick this back up. Some of these, it has an introduction to Greek. It has a Greek dictionary in here and a Hebrew dictionary. And it, you know, it even gives like pronunciation for the alphabet and try to introduce you to, you know, the Greek. But it has a definition to it. But the definition, you see, it says expanded with the best of Vine's dictionary. Y'all can't see that, but here at the bottom here, if you have this one, it's expanded with Vine's dictionary here, because the Strong's is just a locator of words, and it has the numbering system, the Strong's numbering system, that helps you further locate these words. What else? Hold on, y'all. Now, this is the lexicon. Okay, now lexicon is where you get the distinction from these words and the definition of these words. The usage of these words. A lot of that comes from the lexicon, that information. Okay. This is this here, unfortunately, but it's very useful. Hebrew and English lexicon of the Old Testament. All right. So you have to look these words up in Hebrew. Okay, you have to look inside of here. It's a very old book. Y'all can't see that, but everything's in Hebrew except the explanation. So long as I'm familiar with the alphabet, I can find it. You see what I'm saying? And then I can look and see what they're saying in the Hebrew edition. And this is still a Francis Brown, S.R. Driver, C.A. Briggs. You're going to see those names. You're going to see those names a ton. So when you want to know about the usage of the words and what it's being translated into, and the definitions, it's a lexicon is what you want to use. All of these things are in that are in the on a blue letter. But and we finna look at that. You know, and you also have the Zondervan. My Zondervan. We also have a Zondervan. You have biblical dictionaries, and it's a difference between a biblical dictionary and a Webster's. All right, you want a biblical definition, you have to look into a biblical dictionary. Okay, you don't look into Webster's and Oxford, those dictionaries to get biblical terms. Let me go here. Let's go to Blue Letter. Take that down. Blue Letter org. And well, you know, even here, you can see here, you can go to whatever translation that they have available. Where are we going? Where do we want to go? Let's go to Isaiah 5. I just threw that out there. All right. And of course you got to abbreviate it. You put or you can write it out. But ISA can get you there. Okay. Parable of the Vineyard. So it's just some of the tools here. All right. Isaiah, we're gonna go to one. You see here, we have the interlinear. We have Bibles. We got different versions. We got commentaries on this verse. We got dictionaries, and we got miscellaneous cross references. You can go here, and it's going to phrase it out for you. All right, treasure of scripture knowledge. He said, "Now I will sing to my beloved, the song of my beloved, touching his vineyard. My well beloved have a vineyard and a very fruitful hill." And this phrase, "Now I will sing to my," you got correlating verses here. Well beloved, song of my beloved. You got correlating verses here. Touching the vineyard, you got correlating verses. Again, these is tools. Now I will sing to my. All of this is Deuteronomy 31. You got in Judges also, Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on the day saying, "Praise ye the Lord for avenging Israel and the people willingly offered themselves, and the people willingly offered themselves. Hear, O ye kings, give ear, O ye princes. I will sing unto the Lord. I will sing praise to the Lord God of Israel." All right. So it's giving you similar language here. Not that you can, you would want to build off of this, but it depends on what you're looking for. All right. If you're looking for, I want to find where they were singing songs at. Grabbing a verse that has them singing a song, and then going to the cross reference and that little section here where it says, "Now I will sing," now I will sing. You can look at those correlating verses to that singing part. You can find different songs. Maybe that's in there, but whatever the topic is, right? You have also here the interlinear, and that's where we get into you have the Masoretic at the top. A lot of people forget though that you also have the Septuagint at the bottom. All right, you also have the Septuagint at the bottom. Masoretic text. When was that? When was the Masoretic text developed? Who were the Masoretics? What my scholars at? Y'all put that in the comments. What is the date on the Masoretic text, and what is the date on the Septuagint? When was the Septuagint written, and when was the Masoretic text written or developed? So with here, you see, you got the Strong's number, you got your locator. And this also will help you with your Strongs, because you can take this number, if you knew this number, and you could take it to the physical book. See, this isn't by letter. The Strong's isn't it's by number. So if I wanted to look up, not gonna use it now, but my well beloved, I need to go to H3039, and I could take my Strongs, look up H in the Hebrew 3039, and that's gonna give me the word in the Strongs. All right, that's what that number's for. It's not like alphabetical. You know what I'm saying? The numbers are what you're gonna look for to locate the word. Yeah, you got the English, you got it says inflected roots and transliterated. You see the word there. And then you got the parsing out. If you can understand that, I'm not there to even try to understand that yet. But that's the interlinear where we're going here. We're clicking on this tab, interlinear, and we're going and looking up these certain words to say a song, and we'll click on that Strong's number, and then it'll give us song, lyric song, religious song. All right, it give us the biblical usage, but the Strong's is all the Strong's is that number. All right, and then it locates inside of our Strong's. It'll give us all the different verses with that in there. All right, which it does do this here also. Okay, see the concordance results, the Strong's concordance. These are the results of the concordance, and these are all the verses that have that Strong's number in it. All right, and then if you're doing a lesson on how Israel sung songs and how many songs are in the text, you have to go through this and look at all of these different instances. And that sounds like a decent class, to be honest. Now, you have a definition here. All right, a song, abstractly singing, musical, singer, singing, song. And all of these, let me see the usage. Yeah. So you got singer, sing, musical, singing. All of these are different words. Music is a different word than song. Singers is a different word than sing. Okay? Just understand. This is the tricky part that you have to understand. A song is a different word than singers. But all of these words will be found under this one word, shir. All right, and then you can even click here and hear the pronunciation.
Strong's H7892, shir.
Shir. All of this falls under that. If I want to say, somebody went and hit the music, I put shir. The shir word will be there. Somebody, oh man, the singers were on the corner, shir. The singers were on the corner that and playing music, shir. And they're on the corner, seer, and that's because there are some words that especially in English that we just have a plethora of words in English, man. We're using a plethora of words, and so these to transliterate this thing, this one word can mean a plethora of things. Now, what context is what gives this word, the writers are putting in here. Okay, for this same seer that we see in this verse, music fits better here. They were playing the seer. They were playing sheer. Well, the translators looking at that and saying, oh, well, we need to put music right there. They were playing music. They weren't playing singers. They weren't playing. Oh, well, maybe we can put, they were playing a song. So it could be, song could be could be there better. Could be a better fit. But that's what they have. They're not going to say, well, they were playing singing. No, that probably wouldn't fit. But they're using, these are words that the English translators are putting, they put in place of this word sheer. to give us a better understanding. So we're not just reading song, we're not, because it just depends on the context. They're playing instruments and they played a song. Yeah, that works, but we have distinctions where we have singers singing a song. That may be sheer. That may be sheer in the Hebrew. This what we're looking at. These are words that this word sheer has been translated into English to be used. All right. Here also you have the lexicon. Okay, Brown, Driver, Briggs. You got a few others here too. But let me show all. And from here, that's why I was telling y'all, you don't really get to pick here. You have plural. You have a couple verses here. Masculine song, absolute. It's a couple verses here. I see. We need to know what this little cross here means. I don't know what that cross means. We need to know what that cross there means. But anyway, you see here, this. Well, okay, well that's probably song, probably the main one, because we add lyric. So these are probably ones for song. Yeah, it's ones for song. But we have here lyric song. All right, a lyric song, and it's a masculine. Okay, so you got a masculine, then you have it in the feminine form. All right, so now we have the masculine noun song here, which is the first one. And so these will be all the verses here that's going to correlate. These are all the verses that correlate to this particular outline biblical usage. You all understand that? So the masculine noun song is connected to all of these verses here. All right. 2 Chronicles 29:27, Judges 5:12, Genesis 31:27, Proverbs 25:20, Amos 5:30. Let's look at Amos and why they would say this is men. It says, "Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows." I don't know, but that's the masculine. All right. I really see it there. Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly and steal away from me, and didst not tell me that I might have sent thee away with mirth and with songs and trumpet and with the harp? It's the only thing I'm seeing similar here and within these songs, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Okay, that's one that we could say is masculine for sure. All right, the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's, and I wonder, is this sheer? Let's go here, and you see I just clicked on it. We can go here. We can look at the Song of Songs and see what it says here. Sheer. We got the 782, 78, 92 there, 78, 92 there. Sheer. I sheer Solomon. What? And they have to. Oh well, this is the Song of Songs. This is, they gotta translate. We gotta understand how these things are being translated and what they're having to navigate through. Now we can let's look at cross references. Well, no, that ain't what we want to look at. Yeah, let's look at the Bibles, different Bible translations of this. And everybody does Songs of Songs. All right, everybody does Songs of Songs. Pretty much. This is Solomon's, the Song of Songs, the Song of Songs. The Song of Songs, which is Shalomo. Okay. Solomon's most excellent. Okay, that's probably More paraphrasing going on there. But let's go back here where we was at. We was dealing with the song and yeah, we said sheer. Let's go back to this concordance. I meant this lexicon. So lyric song, we have all the verses that correlate to that. See, he says now it's lyric song, a lyrical song. We have all the verses here to connect to that. All the verses here that connect to religious song. Okay, that's in the masculine, and y'all get the point. All right, and that's why I was saying that you think you get to choose, but you really don't get to choose. And you can do whatever you want to do. But I'm just telling you, is the information is here laying it already. It's already laying it out. You don't have to believe it. You can question it. Just like we just went through the song. And I'm going through this on the fly with y'all. Excuse me. I'm going with this on the fly with y'all. Just, and that's where my brain goes with, why are they saying this is masculine? And what I seen in the first two verses that, maybe it's the Most High dealing with us in a certain manner. And maybe that could make it masculine. But then the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's, we know that belongs to a male. So that would be a masculine version. They got the feminine here, which is 5:1, which we were reading. He says, now I will sing to my well-beloved, the song of my well-beloved, touching his vineyard. So we see the touching his vineyard. It's a female saying this. All right, now I will sing to my beloved, a song of my beloved, touching his vineyard. Her beloved, she's touching his vineyard, is a male. So the feminine, it would be a female that's singing that, and it's written in the feminine. You see the masculine. I mean, you see the feminine down here. It look like it has a hay on the end of it. All right, and you have the shin yo. I think that's I think it's a resh. It could be a dollar. Not a resh. It got to be a resh. Shin yo resh, and then you got a hay on the end of on the feminine, and you have so you see, even if you don't know the letters, you see it's 3 letters right here for the masculine, and then the feminine form you see that is 4 letters. And I don't even know if we're even teaching this in the Lashawan, feminine and masculine forms of these words. They could be, but I don't. I haven't sat in no Lashawan class to actually get that deep in it. What else? Commentaries. We got commentaries. Look at the. All right, we got the Geneva Bible Study Notes. We got an executive outline. We got a study guide for Isaiah chapter 5. Even audio things. You got commentary with Henry, Chuck Smith. It's just, I'm saying, it's just a plethora of tools here. All right, dictionaries. Yeah, I was seeing if it was. Yeah, it's drawing it out. It's the Easton's Bible Dictionary, International Smith's Bible, Hickok's King James Dictionary, singing, and then you can look at that dictionary up, and they'll give you the Strong's, then they give you it's used always of praise to God. All right, so don't just wait till brothers or wait till you get trying to do a lesson. Get on here and look around. And be searching and be hungry to try to figure some things out, or some things that might have stumped you. Miscellaneous, I don't know what this is. Oh, look at that, maps. Related to Isaiah chapter 5, which we're looking at. All right. So it's probably related to the timeline. And this what you know. You need to have look at Eden, Beth Eden. They have a so that you can see so you can get a visual of where these nations are coming from, even like the land of the north being Babylon. And I know a lot of brothers is with that South Africa thing, man. We gonna have to get at that. It's you want to think that these things, but man, anything can grow, man. People, will believe any doctrine. This brother's following Yaju Judah, thinking that he's the Messiah. People follow Yahweh ben Yahweh. People follow Malachi Z. York. It's we men worshipers. And that's why this kind of like this class, I know it's a little boring, but this is why this is important, so you'll see where they're getting the information from, and you won't just sit here and think that, oh, they had a dream and God gave him the lesson, or he's the only one with the spirit to get the lesson and to break it down. He's breaking it down. He a prophet reincarnated, and he got the lessons broke down. You have these same tools at your disposal, y'all. This is where they're getting it from. All right. And now they've extended to Chat GPT, which is an amazing tool. And you're just not smarter. Man, I did and salute to Brother Eliezer, man. Great lesson yesterday. Man, he used Chat GPT to bring up a graph. It graphed out a comparison of the salvific plan of modern Christian versus Hebrew Israelites, and it was pretty accurate. I watched Oakland. I don't remember one time brother was saying, "Well, nah, that ain't what we believe." Like that was pretty accurate, and the verses. It didn't just break it down. It actually had the correlating verses to these breakdowns and where we're getting this stuff from. And it already has us that accurate. Speaking of us that accurately. It's crazy. And again, some people just, some people ain't gonna trust it, and that's how all new technology is. All new technology, it first come out, we're not trusting it. It's of the devil. It's and it can be mishandled without a doubt. Even this software we're using now, no, it can be mishandled. There are people putting a pre notions within some of these writings, and two, that's why we have to get to a point. We can't be talking about, man, we scholars of the earth and all of this stuff, and we're not doing no writing. We're not doing these breakdowns. We're not getting these breakdowns peer reviewed. We're not getting them reviewed scholastically. We on the lowest level. We on the street corner getting it reviewed and feeling like we know what we talking about because the people on the street corners don't know this information. And I'm not speaking badly. I say we can be on these street corners, but I'm not gonna let it puff me up where I think I know a whole bunch, or where I think I'm just this astute, scholar that can go into Oxford and start. No, man, you gotta put some work in, man. And I'm just very surprised we don't have a commentary. Why Israel don't have a commentary? But one reason is, man, we ain't got time. We ain't got time, man. Brother probably exhausted himself. Ashar, what the brother name now? Ashar Ariala probably exhausted himself just changing the name within that biblical text, or the Bibles that he have. I don't know what Jeremiah does for a living, but he probably exhausted himself with that Bible, with the Bibles that he's created. It's a great work. It takes a lot, and a commentary is probably a life's work. Commentary is probably, Josephus has a commentary. A lot of brothers don't. Ain't quoting nothing from that. I'm scared of that almost. But anyway, again, y'all, we just went to a random verse and just looked up how much information we can get from that verse there. And for us to just look and see how the Hebrew is even spoken. And the Greek. It's different, man. It's different from English. Let's look at one more. Let's pick another random verse. Let's get some in the New Testament. We go to Matthew 10. Matthew 10, we'll look at a verse here. We don't need no names. Let's do verse 8. Let's look at that word heal. Look at that. Therapeutic. Probably where you get the word therapeutic. Maybe. I'm just rambling. Don't mind me. Let me see what they say. Pronunciation.
Strong's G 2323. Therapuo.
See?
Therapuo.
All right. To serve, do service, to heal, cure, restore. What are your usage? What is the usage? Heal, cure, worship. Those three different. Heal and cure pretty similar. Worship is definitely a little different. But it's used one time for worship. Now let's look at that time it's used for worship to see why they would use this word therapeutic. Why would they put worship there? Why would the translator say worship when we know therapeutic probably means heal or cure? But why would one use worship? Why would he say that? Let's look. It really ain't that many words. But no, let's do it the right way. All right, let's look into the lexicons here. And I don't see worship. The cure, restore. To adore. No, I don't see worship in this breakdown here. I see to serve, do service, to heal, to cure. Oh, well, that is on the only ones right here. Okay. So, yeah, worship's not in this usage. But it's used somewhere. So let's see where it's used at. Heal, 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 healed, heal, healed, healed, cure, cure, healed, 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 heal, healed. My goodness. Healed, heal, 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 heal. We gotta go through all of these, y'all. Cured, heal, heal, heal. Worship. Here we go. Here we go. Neither is worship. Let's go here to Acts 17:25. All right, therapeutic. Why was it used here? Sermon on Mars Hill. Acts 17:22. It says, "Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things you are too superstitious. For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, To the unknown God, whom therefore you ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you. God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Neither is worship with men's hands, as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. Neither is worshipped, all right, with man's hands. So they had the therapeutic there. Should we put neither is he cured with man's hands? Neither is he healed with man's hands? as though he needed anything. Now, I'm not mad at the healed if we put healed there. Because he's making a point of this as if he needs anything. He don't need nothing from y'all. But you could have put, but I do feel the worshipped is a little better. But I wouldn't be mad at the healed or the cure. Neither is cured with man's hands, as though he don't need nothing from y'all. He don't need you to cure him. He don't need you to heal him. He don't need you to worship him. Seeing he giveth life to all and breath into. You know what? I take that back. I think maybe the heal should have been there. Seeing that he gives all life, all breath. He don't need nothing from you. He gives it. He does the healing and the curing. What do y'all think? Y'all hit the comments. Let me know what y'all think about that. That's very interesting. But this is where we're going. This when you're just not here picking these words, man. You know what I'm saying? This is what you have to do if you're trying to see that biblical usage and saying, oh well, it could be this too. Not really. You have to look at the context of the word and why they chose worshipped here. Neither is he worshipped with man's hands. Now let's do something and let's look at different translations. Okay, we got neither is worshipped, KJV, New KJV worshipped. NIV says, and he is not served by human hands. We got served by human hands, served by human hands, served by human hands, served by human hands, serve. Neither by hands of man is he served. Served by man's hands, served by man's hands. And human hands can't serve his needs. Neither is worshipped of men. That's the NLT there. And human hands can't serve his needs. Okay. So this is again just giving examples of how we can look at these things, how these things have been examined. It's a little deeper than just you going here and saying, oh, see, this word could be anything. No, it can't be anything. It can't be anything. That ain't what they telling you. That you just, and they give you these options you just pick from. It's not what they telling you. And we see here that the KJV used worshipped. All right. That they're pure. I think that, it could be, heal the cure. I think these translations, even though they're just trying to make it understandable to you, because if they put, neither can man's hands heal God. What are they trying to say? You going into all of this, and then so they put in here serve that man's hands can't, human hands can't serve his needs. And I wonder if there's a text that's older than this. And this is the Vulgate, but I wonder if it's a text older than this, or like the Tinsdale that may have said, well, I know, okay, they kind of copied the Tinsdale, but is there a text older that some of these might have been older? And then when you have something like, and human hands can't serve his needs, then you go back and you put, well, neither is worship with man's hands. But anyway, that's just me rambling and thinking about this thing. But again, y'all, I'm gonna close out there, man. I pray this thing was edifying. Again, just trying to look at some of these tools, how these tools are used, and us just trying to navigate and rightly divide this word. Pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed. Shalom.